السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد أحبتي في الله. There's a famous statement from Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu when he said, question your heart in 3 times. The time when you listen to the Quran, and the time when the death mentioned, and in your private times. That how you test your heart and how you discover yourself. Do you have a sound heart, or you are in a state of heedlessness, the state of ghafla? So when the Quran being recited, is that a moment of reflection and thinking of yourself, and you interact with the means of Quran, or there is no any impact? The time when there's a death that occurred, happened in your family, in your surrounding, or in the community, or you just heard about it, is that really affecting you and giving you a reminder or not? And at the same time, what you're actually doing in your private times. Because we all are like, when we mingle with others, we tend that we are, perfect. And we are trying to hide our shortcoming. But it's really, you test yourself what you are doing when your private time, when nobody that with you and watching you except Allah. And something that's among these, if we want to really highlight about it, that's when we talk about death. Because if we just mention that without even affecting us and not make us really consider that we are the next, and we are, that's as we are like, in the stage being questioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and gets the reminder, then there's a big question mark. The Prophet ﷺ said, وَكَفَى بِالْمَوْتِ وَعِدًا. He said, وَكَفَى بِالْمَوْتِ وَعِدًا. It's enough, preacher, is a death. So the death itself, it's advisor, it's a preacher. So if you never get the reminder by that, if your heart never moved by that, then there is something wrong. Worse than the actual death, the death of the heart. So if somebody's really died, that's something we understand, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have wrote that for all of us, and we are going to go to the same end. However, if somebody is still living and has dead heart, that's one of the worst calamity and musibah. So the death by itself is musibah, and the worst musibah of somebody still physically living, but his heart is dead. And that's why the Prophet reminds us by saying, تَذَكَّرُوا هَذِمَ اللَّذَّاتِ. Remember the destroyer of the desires. At the time of Sahaba, it's very hard to recognize the person that lost a relative or friend, or he was faced that calamity. It's very hard because all of them, they get affected by that. All of them, they get the reminder, and it's very hard even to recognize. Nowadays as well, it's very hard to recognize because everybody like smiling and happy as if nothing has happened. Even at the time of the burial, I've seen people talking about business, and people, they are only doing something that's contradict from what's supposed to be. Now my question to myself and you, are we ready? Are we ready? Have you prepared ourselves for that moment? Did we imagine that ourselves were going to die in any moment? So are we ready? Have we prepared? Let me just ask one question that tells us and give you some indication that we are ready or not. Have you written your wasiyah? Can you, see hands? I don't want to embarrass anybody, but can you see hands just to have an idea that who have written his wasiyah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is for me, it's one of the indications. Somebody will say, I have nothing that I could pass to others because they think of wasiyah just on money. But let me clarify, especially in this society, it's very important. The Prophet, yes, he mentioned that if somebody has something to pass to others, like inheritance, he should write it, and he should not spend 2-3 days without having it ready under his belt. That's what Prophet mentioned. You should have it written. But forget about the money. There are the other things that are more important than the money that you have. Your body. Because you don't know how it's going to be handled. How many of those Muslims will be cremated and burned? I witnessed many of those cases. And how many bodies that they call unclaimed body? Have you heard about this term? Where those died when nobody surrounded them, they will leave them for a while in the hospital, then they will pass them to a church or any place of worship, and they do whatever they want. And most of the time they cremated them. I was invited to those functions multiple times because I don't want to miss it, because in my mind maybe a Muslim was among them. And it's happened. Alhamdulillah, to the last minute, we protected one of those Muslims and we claimed that body and we buried that Muslim. That's one thing. Have you thought about the moment you will be unconscious to assign who's your power of attorney? Have you thought about your youngest, the kids, especially single mothers and single fathers? If you die and you don't have your wasiyah written, they are going to be a government property. Your kids, the underages, they're going to be a government property, and they can place them in any home. Not necessarily has to be a Muslim home. And many other things. It's not only about the money. And that's why we really need to prepare ourselves. So now you have a different mood when you're writing. Because when you're writing and you imagine yourself, you are leaving this world. At least do not leave mess behind. Some people even they have money, but their kids, they have no access to it. Because they have no joint account and they have nothing left, written there to give them their information. So their family is suffering for years until the court released that amount. So why you leave even your family suffering? And you don't have things that being specified. I'm working on in the last, touch, of updating the wasiyah, 26 pages. It's very comprehensive, has everything, and very simple to fill. Inshallah, we are going to have a function in a few weeks. We'll confirm the date for you. Keep to it'll be updated. With that, inshallah, by following the Facebook and all other social media. And if you're not subscribed to our email list, please do so. So inshallah, we'll inform you. We're gonna be there, myself and a Muslim lawyer. We're gonna inshallah answer your questions and make that available. So make sure you'll not miss that one, because yes, this is something that all of us, we should have it. And inshallah, we'll have a full package where even we inshallah have a designated safe that where you put a copy here in the masjid that nobody have access to it except the imam and the one he's responsible for that, when the time being needed. So inshallah, we're gonna have a full presentation and a full package, that, and that just as a way to prepare ourselves for that. We are going to die. إِنَّكَ مَيِّتٌ وَإِنَّهُمْ مَيِّتٌ. We are all going to the same way. May Allah forgive us, and may Allah make the best of our action is the last of our action, and the best of our days, the days when we are going to meet with Him. Ameen. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.